Alright, so now let's start with the add node functionalities. So I have already opened the add node.vue. So let's create the script tag with setup, and then let's also create the template, right? And said that I'm going to take a div with a class name of rs nodes content like this, and I'm going to take a form, and this form will not have any conventional action but will have some submit event. So submit, and we are also going to prevent the form, and we can name a function for it. So let's call the handle form like this. We'll create this function later, and inside that I'm going to create an input like so, and it will be self-closing, and let's have the type of text, and let's take a class for it. Let's say rs input title, not like this title, and let's add a placeholder as well. So what you can see, what you can say, let's say what is the note about, like so. And then we also need some connectors, so we can use the v model, and let's name it title. We will also create that. So let's import not like this, import a ref from view. So we're gonna use the ref, and let's add the const title, and you can use the ref, and by default it will be blank. Alright, now the next I'm going to install one package which is called vue content editable, which actually we need to, because we are going to use content editable inside this place. So user can add any type of content as you like, because text area doesn't allow the HTML by default. So let's kill the terminal, and let's do npm install save dev, and we have this view content editable. So let's install that, and I think it's already been installed. So let's run the npm run dev again, and now what we can do, we can import the content editable content. I think it is content editable like this, and it is coming from the view content editable. All right, so the way we can use it is to use its component. So it is content editable, and it will be a self-closing, and we can pass some parameters here. We can use the tag as div tag, and we can use the class. So we can call it rs content editable, and we can make content content editable and set it to true. So we are allowing it, and we can say, like, it does have some options. So one is no new line, so we can make it false, and also we can do no HTML and make it true. And we also need some binding model, so we can do v model, and we can call it content. Obviously this is not available, so we can duplicate it, and you can say content like this, and it will be blank at the initial state. Now let's add a button here. So let's take a button tag and we'll pass some properties for that. The type would be submit, and let's add a class for that. You can say rs form save button, and we can actually use some sort of icon. So let's remove this closing tag and close it here, and set that. Let's add a span tag, and remember we are using actually what I can say Google materials icons, so we can use like class. So material, let's add symbols sharp, and we will use the save icon. So far we haven't actually integrated this add node view anywhere, but before going like adding the add nodes into some other components like the list view components, I'm going to create this handle form function, because otherwise it will throw some error. So let's create this const, and it will be a function like so, and we can just do console.log. we can say form submitted like so. Now let's go back into the list view and add this add node.view component. So let's import it first. So import add node from add components, and I guess it is inside the common, because as I have described that this will record in list and grid in both. So add node dot view like so. Now you can use this add node component, and let's add it after the sidebar. So add node like so. If I save it and hit a refresh, I think there's some issue, so let's check that. So you can see we have an error which is calling that this add node is not found. I think I have found the issue, misspelled it. So if I save it now and let's hit a refresh, so you can see we have some title, some content area, and also a save button with an icon, but obviously there is no design added. So let's add the design or the CSS. So the CSS actually is pre-written, so I'm not gonna waste not much of a time. So I'm just opening this main.scss, and I'm going to take some references so that I can do it quickly. So first is I'm going to copy some CSS and paste it down here at the bottom. So first one is rs node. As you can see, when I save the CSS, it is already changed. So this title field has been changed, not the button or the other things. So the first one is rs node contents. So there are some CSS that you can obviously read out of. So some design that is specific to the form, and some design that is specific to the input title, which is specifically this one. Now let's add the CSS for this rs content editable as well, so that I can copy, and also I am going to copy this rs form save button. So I'm just grabbing that out. And this one, all right. So I've pasted it out. So this is rs content editable, so which width is 100%, height is 100%, outline 0, and for the save button we have some CSS, and for the hover we have some background change animation as well. So when I save it, you can see we have this title where you can put the title. We have the content area, which is invisible in terms of outline, because the entire area you can use right? So if I just close it down, anywhere you click here you can type it out, and you have this nice save button as well. When you hover over it, it's changing its color. Okay, so so before adding anything further into the handle form, let's open our store, because we need to add some things into the node.store. So let's open that, and let's remove all of this junky stuffs, because we're gonna populate it from the add form. And I'm going to add one key, that is last node ID, to track down what actually it is actually for to tracking down which particular nodes is adding, or is which particular node I need to edit or delete. So this will be a tracking key for us. All right, so now let's okay, so let's create one action for it, and which is called add note, and it will take the note, right, and it will be a function, and inside that we're gonna take a const like so, and we can say new nodes array, and it will take all the previous nodes, and so it will take the new node, and it will like append with the nodes of the states, which is here. So these dot nodes, right? And then what we can do, we can say these dot nodes will be the new nodes array. So what we are doing here, whatever nodes is passing through this add nodes, we're gonna append it with the older nodes, and by taking everything in this array, we're going to reset it with this we're going to reset this this value of these nodes, meaning this is state nodes, with this new nodes array, right? Okay, so let's go back into the add nodes now. Let's close it down, and here we're going to import the store. We're going to import the use node store, and that is from add stores node store, and also you're gonna use it. So let's add a const, we can say node store, and you can say use node store like so. Alright, so now let's remove, or before that let's check it whether this console log is actually printing something or not. So let's refresh it and clear it. If I click on here, you can see form submitted, so it's working fine. So now let's remove this console message, and let's first check or take the insert ID, and we can say node store dot I think it's last node ID, if I can recall it. So yes, last node ID. Now let's check if length of the title dot value is less than 0, and if let's say the insert ID is blank, only then we're going to insert something new. So let's take the insert ID, and we actually need some random ID generator. So for that also we're gonna need to install a new package, so which is called UUID. So let's just stop that, and we can say npm I save dev, and we can say UUID. So it's installed, and we'll just rerun this, and let's import it. So import v4 as UUID v4, and which is from UUID, like so. So then here we can use just the UUID function directly, UUID v4, so it will give us a random generated ID. Alright, now with the node store dot add node, because add node is the function, add node is the action that is coming from the store, so you can access it directly with the add node, and inside that we are going to send an object. So the object has multiple things like the insert ID, and we'll have the title, and the title would be the title.value. Remember, we are using ref, so we need to use the value like this, and we will have the content, which is also a ref, so we can use the content dot value, and we'll have the timestamp for the later use if we try to like sorting out with the based on the timestamp value, and pinned, so pinned initial value will be always will be false, and I guess that's it. Alright, so with this what we are doing, we are inserting these values through the add nodes action, which is associated here, and what it is doing, it is updating the nodes state, which is this one, by grabbing the new value and merging with the old array. So that is the mechanism. And also we are going to do some reset forming, because after the save of the data, we do not want to see the like the old data that is associated into the form. So what you can do, we can do like title dot value to the empty string, and content dot value that is also assigned to the empty string, right? And okay, let's see so far what we have done, because it will otherwise it will be much more to observe. Okay, so let's try to add some titles. So let's say title 1, you can say content of title 1, content of title 1, and you can just close it down, and if I save it, you can see the value is immediately saved, and that is added into this array. So that means because we are fetching all nodes from the array of from the state of the store of this one, so that means it is populating, so that ensures that our data is actually saving. So let's try to add another one, title 2, you can say content of title 2. So if I save it, you can see title 2 has been associated here. Alright, now if I try to like click on or click on the save button without adding anything, so it's not gonna add any title, because we have blocked it. If I go to the add nodes, we are saying that if the title value is like totally blank, we are not gonna save it. So but we also need to add some sort of a message so that user can understand what is happening. So let's just do a basic alert, right? What we can say, node title cannot be blank, like so, a generic message. So now if I click on it, you can see the node title cannot be blank, so user have some sort of a message.